All right, let's go. Another edition of Stay Rooted Talk Story, and I'm super stoked. Today, I got brother Elijah Kalal McShane, son of Oahu, messenger, facilitator with. Oh, there he is. There you go. What's up? All right, so I'm gonna jump on. I'm gonna shoot him an invite, and then we're just going to talk story. Here we go. All right. Oh, perfect. There you go. Nice. I love this, dude. Talking story, that's my thing, dude. I love gathering people, talking story. Ooh, right there. Oh, what's up, brother?
What's up, Hoing?
Yeah, how's it?
Aloha, bro. How you guys?
Good. Yeah, just doing the little intro, just talking, just saying, how stoked I am to be able to talk story. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Especially with brothers from the islands, sisters from the islands and stuff back home, because I'm in Sacramento now, yeah, so I'm in California now, but yeah, just this is my way of just connecting with other people who I vibe with. That's the beauty of social media,
Absolutely.
It's like used correctly, we can just connect and just learn from each other. You know what I'm saying? So that's the number one thing I want to do with my Stay Rooted Talk Story series. Is to the whole thing is staying rooted. Not only to, ourselves, but also staying rooted with each other and learning from each other, So, yeah, man, just super stoked. Like I said, social media is a beautiful thing. We connected through IG, and, this was what, like a couple weeks ago, yeah? And then now we're just here face to face talking stories. So, but yeah, I just want to have you take the floor and just, introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, and, what is your life mission, or just in general, just what are you trying to spread in the world,
Oh, absolutely, Kanaka. Absolutely. It's a beautiful honor to be here. And because Stay Rooted is all is all rooted into Ava as well. Just wanted to add a blessing upon this beautiful Ava, and I'm gonna start Inu before we share. And let's make it happen. It's beautiful to be with everybody. Please tune in. For all people around the world that are tuning in, add this to your story. Get everybody tuning in to the Stay Rooted Talk Story. It's beautiful to be present, and I'm gonna ask everybody and invite everybody to unify in one breath. So when you hear Hanu, please take a deep breath. When you hear Ha, you can exhale. We're gonna do 3 of these breaths, and then I'm gonna open up with a little bit of an oli, and then we can get right to it. Mahalo kia kua. Hanu. Ha. Hanu. Ha. Hanu. Ha. O nau nai ka halange ka lehu e halelehu ano hi ana ka nui. O ka ono hi ai ano ine li ani o ka hiki mai. A hiki mai no e ke pume ke aloha. Aloha hi, aloha hi. Aloha. Me ke aloha aina, me ke aloha akua, me ke aloha kānaka. Add a blessing upon this Ava o ka wai a kāne me kana loa, ka inu wai o nā tupuna, o nā akua, and add blessings upon this exchange of wala'au made ho'ala ka mana'o, ho'ala naka naka, ka po'e ka honua, and bring life to the being, bring life to the kino, and bring life to the na'au, so that we may live in higher states of enlightenment and awareness and in the spirit of aloha that lives within all of us. We pray, we give thanks to all of this in the beautiful name of Hawaii, our beautiful homeland, Zeku o Hanoi. Ewa. Yes, mahalo kia kua, mahalo kia kua. Bah. Yeah, kanaka, but you have a little bit of Ava on you too.
Yep, yeah, so I just from Molokai. So
Molokai Ava. Oh yes,
kanaka. Yep. So yeah, I actually hooked up with them this last fall. So yeah, these super cool people, and yeah, they hooked me up with a couple bags. So yeah,
right on, bro.
Fresh root.
So fresh root.
Yeah.
Hey, peace and love. Hey, Kanaka, just gonna add a little bit of the kind on top of this, bro, to actually add a blessing upon to our kupuna, and I'm gonna take a quick inu.
Shoot.
Yola no, kanaka. Mahalo nui for being here, bro. Yola. Yola.
All right.
Yeah, mahalo ki akua.
Yep.
Aloha mai kako. I am Elijah Kala McShane, a Makahu, spiritual culture practitioner here in the beautiful island of Oahu. I currently live here in Haleiwa, in the beautiful district of Waialua in the Ahupua'a ka Palala, and on the island of Oahu in the Pai'aina of Hawaii in the kingdom of the Hawaiian Islands. We just here present. I am the speaker and facilitator for Awakened Aloha, which is an organization that I introduced and founded a few years ago that really specializes in what we call the healing arts of Aloha and teaching people the way of Aloha, which was a spiritual philosophy that had come to me in pule and in practice, that is rooted to our kupuna, but is updated in a way that people can integrate into it today, and that is relatable to all people around the planet, because we have to make sure that what we are spreading and doing is not only exclusive to our people, because of course, like a lot of our practices are kapu, and this has always been an ongoing exchange of conversation on what is kapu and what is noa. What are the things in our culture that is for only us, and what are the things in our cultures that is to be spread and that is universal and that can be applied. And so in our practices in Awakened Aloha, Ho'ala Ki Aloha is we spread the mana that is universal and that can relate to all people, so that everybody can live aloha, can give aloha, can be aloha, and can apply it to their everyday lives only.
I love that, dude. Yeah, and then like I said, I've been following you for a little while now, and then we officially connected. And like I just was reading up like on all of your stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because me being from Hawaii, and then from Maui. From Maui I went Oahu, and then Oahu I went California, Bay Area. Now I'm in Sacramento, and like me moving from the islands to the mainland, like that was big for me. Like I thought I was gonna be like in the islands like for life, you know what I'm saying? But the life path and the choices, like chose to move to, because my wife's from the Bay Area. So
Nice.
So basically we're expecting our first child, so she wanted to be close to all of her family. So I was like, okay, let's do it for for my son's name is Elijah, by the way. So
right
on.
Special guy.
Guaranteed. No, it's funny because he was because I always tell him what I do with state rooted kava and all this other stuff. It's like, oh hey, look who he's talking to. He's like, Elijah, that's my name. And I was like, no, that's a good name, bro. But it's just like from the moment I landed, or even before, like jumping on the plane, I just remember listening to Jim Week's project, Homegrown, and just all these feelings, just came to me. Then I was like, you know what? When you move to the mainland, like this is your chance to spread aloha. You know what I'm saying? And not only for my future community that I was gonna build and meet, but also like my wife's family. So start with our home, and then after that branch out. So like the stuff that you were saying too, especially one of the values you had was creating space. Create space to grow. So like for me, I kind of think of it like so I have my roots on Maui, and then took some of the roots, planted it on Oahu, planted there, created connections, memories, and then from there took some of the roots and then took it to Bay Area, created memories, 6 years, and then from there took the roots from Maui, Oahu, and Bay Area, took them to Sacramento. So now it's like this connection,
spreading.
It's just spreading, and like each time just like I said, like staying rooted with that thought of not only like local Hawaiian culture, you know what I'm saying, and like really spreading it and sharing it. And man, like what would you say as far as like not only keeping it for the Kanaka Maoli or like the Kama'aina or like locals, but also like sharing it with, you know, people here on the mainland. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because yeah, like you said, like aloha is, you know, it's universal. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yes, yes,
within
right. You
us.
know, and you know the thing is that it's it's oftentimes a challenge for a lot of our people who are Kama'aina, who are Kanaka, that head off island and actually choose to live in America, in Europe, and it's usually a challenge because the environment is not always conducive to our kalo to grow. Yeah, and I heard a talk in the past from the kumu that was talking was this old kumu who is a kalo expert, who is a kava expert, and his name is Uncle Jerry Konanui. And in the words of Uncle Jerry, he said, Bara, if you mahi'ai, if you are a farmer, you have to be tuned into the kalo. Because there are kalo that if you put over by the ocean, it's not gonna grow. And if you think it's gonna grow, and you're gonna keep watching them, you listen to the kalo, you can just look at the kalo and it's gonna tell you if it's growing and expanding or not. And if you keep them there and think it's gonna grow and it's not growing, it's because of the environment you have it in. Because there are specific ones that you can place near the ocean, has actually specific expressions of the kalo, of all the varieties of our kalo that can be in the uplands, in uka, that can thrive. And there are other kalos that stay in the environment and cannot thrive. And so it's, you know, like it brings me back to thinking about if we as Kanaka are the expression and the embodiment of kalo, wherever you put us, all we gotta make sure is when you put us that we still thrive, that we have our roots planted, we have an understanding of who we are, and we don't forget that even when we get put into another environment, that we still kalo, and we aren't gonna turn into a potato, yeah, and like choose to kind of integrate too deeply up until the point where the essence of who we are changes. Yeah, we gotta make sure that wherever we go, that we're so rooted in who we are, we're so clear in our identity, and we're so interconnected to who we come from and where we come from, that no matter where you plant us as Kanaka, as Kalo, as people of Hawaii, that our being Kalo is able to feed the community instead of us being integrated too heavily, assimilation into that environment, that we forget who we are as being Kalo. We would rather choose to be potato. Yeah, and so yeah, bro, you know, Hawaiian, I've been to Florida a lot of times, bro. We go to Utah, I've been to Colorado, you know, I've been all up the California coast, and I always try to look for people that are of Hawaii or people that are of the Polynesian islands. And usually in the California area, it's oftentimes a challenge because like a lot of the Polynesians that are in California have been in California for a long time.
Yeah.
So they in like a lot of ways have been decultured, and so like a lot of the Polynesians, you know, they have a big integration into the African American community, and so they seem more African American than Polynesian and Kanaka, but they still get the mana of their kupuna, and you can still feel them, man.
Yep, guaranteed. No, yeah, it's just that's the thing. It's that's the one thing about like being from Hawaii and living on the mainland, and you meet somebody else from Hawaii, or even like, you know, I met this lady from Guam, and like we just started talking stories. She was like, "Oh, like where are you from?" It was like, "Oh, from Hawaii." It was like, "Oh, I can tell because I guess we have an accent." Yeah, so it's like, yeah, like I can tell because your accent. You know what I'm saying? But then there, it's like just automatic. It's like, oh, like we got like there's this feeling of like taking care of each other. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh shoot, like, oh, where are you from? It's like, oh, whether you're from Maui, Oahu, you know what I'm saying? It's like whatever island you're from, it's like that instant connection of like taking care of each other. Like
you kind of just know. You know, it's a thing that there is no need for words to see, like, because, you know, bruh, I was at Hawaii, we stay in Florida, Kanaka. I stay walking around, just walking around. And, you know, because things have been expanding, you know, like in my influence of social media, you know, we've been reaching different people around the world. But just being in Florida, Kanaka, I stay walking around. People start hearing me talk. Boom. Hey, they come from across the hallway. Yeah, they come from across the parking lot. They go, hey, bro, where you from, bro? Whoa, Hawaii. You know, you just know it.
Yep.
You go, oh, bro. You know, yeah, from our accent. I never really know all my life that I had an accent. You know, until I got into a relationship with my girl. People in Florida think that I come from, you know, the Caribbean. You know, and you know, but then they go, wait, how? You know, he don't really sound like a Dominican though. He don't sound like a Puerto Rican, but he kind of look it, and then they go, oh, but it is guy from Hawaii. Oh wow, I've never heard that accent before.
Yeah. It's funny, and then it's crazy. Like when you say like the vibe or like the energy. Like there's times when I remember this one time we're in the Costco over here, and like had like this group of brothers, and I was like, I told my son, I was with Elijah, I was like, hey, these guys from Hawaii, guaranteed. Then he goes, how do you know? I was like, watch this. So like I go and like, you know, pretend to pick up. I think it was like cheese or something. Then I was kind of like right close proximity to them. Then I thought, oh, Elijah, how's this cheese? Me, man. Then later, like one guy, he looked like this. He was like, oh, I was like, oh, what's up? He was like, yeah, he was like, oh, where you from? I was like, oh, it was actually working construction. I guess like they come mainland for like 2-3 months, work construction, and then like go back home.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, we started talking stories, chopping them up. And then, it's just funny. Like you said, with the vibe, it's like, oh, shoot, like you can just tell the energy. You know what I'm saying? But had somebody talk about, Polynesian touch there, how do you regain our culture? That was the question. I guess living on the mainland, or, you know, born and raised on the mainland, but of Polynesian, or, you know.
Yes. Absolutely beautiful question, bro. You know, we had introduced an ebook on top of our website that and kind of like in our website it is awakenaloha.org.
Yeah,
I'll put them in right over here, awakenaloha.org.
that's the 4 P's, huh?
Yeah. And so we had put out an ebook that is called the 4 P's of reinstating heritage and culture. One of the biggest inspiration of doing this is not only for us Kanaka people. I'm not too sure if people know, but over half of the population of Kanaka Oivio Hawaii, people that are of Kanaka blood, over half of our population is not in Hawaii. Over half. Yeah, so we're talking about in existence on the planet, we got about 500,000 people that are Kanaka who have koko still, of whatever degree, 500,000. So over 250,000 of that population is located on the outside of Hawaii. Yeah, and for whatever reason that is, have it be because, you know, it's usually because of economic opportunity, or because your parents had seen opportunity elsewhere to have a better life, economically feasible for them, enough to trade their homeland experience to actually be there. And we can call it whatever we want. I usually encourage Kanaka to try to pull out the lingo of calling it mainland, because Hawaii is our mainland as Kanaka. And, you know, it's our ku'une hanau. And so when we we're speaking about how to reinstate culture, how to do a just like a deeper exploration on who we are as people that are cultured, living in the Western world. If you're anything like me, I grew up in a Hawaiian family that did Hawaiian things, but the Hawaiian essence in terms of the practice, the culture, the protocol, the consciousness that was connected to our practices wasn't really there. Yeah, so we always did Hawaiian things, you know, like on half of my family, all watermen, so all big wave surfers, and you know, the kickstarters and pioneers of a handful of canoe clubs in Oahu, you know, big time on my other side of the family. Really into the luau side of cooking. but the protocol, the consciousness, the prayers weren't there, which ultimately is the main things that actually make your consciousness kanaka. Yeah, and how you embody who you are in your kupuna in that practice. And a majority of that has been done because you keep the practice. It's kind of like things in tourism, things like how people see Hawaiian culture as a business is they like Hawaiian culture, but they don't like Hawaiian people. You know, like they aren't always interested in the people and in the consciousness that comes with it. They're only interested in what they're doing. Yeah, and so we kind of was kind of doing that a lot of our life, at least from my experience being in my ohana. And so I went on my path of trying to reinstate those things. How do I get more in tune to the mana of what it means to be kanaka? Yeah, like the mana, like without anything. I can do different practices, you know, but I'm not interested in how to carve a drum. I'm interested in that as I'm carving the pahu, what is the mana that is encapsulated in this? You know, how come I'm carving a pahu? What is a pahu? Who is connected to the pahu? Who is the akua and the kupuna? Who are the spiritual beings and all the deities that have been a part of the pahu? That's what I'm interested in. There's plenty Polynesians, you know, especially the ones that are not Kanaka who always drink kava. They drink kava as just an everyday thing. But no more mana because there's no prayer around it. You know, they're like, bro, I experienced, you know, this was 2012. I had a business conference in LBC, bro, and I went over there, and there was some pretty big musicians in the Polynesian communities who was at this business conference, and there was like exclusive invitations to come, you know, to kind of cruise in the hotel room for only people who are Polynesian, and only had like 10 of us at the conference. Yeah, so we all came inside there having a good time. But all these bottles was, but there was freaking playing guitar, me Kani Kapila sesh, but there was mixing all their kava in the bucket, but had no prayer around it. You know, like, you know, kind of like I never really had interest in them because never really have the all the mana that could help me connect to what they were doing. And only when I started going on my path of like asking these questions, seeking out all the wisdom, imina o like seeing where and how am I able to learn enough to get access to this mana and into these practices. And once I started to learn, it's in bits and pieces and just going deep into it, it seemed like all of my kupuna started just opening up all the pukas that boom, I started to, you know, pull in and get access to this mana. You know, I started getting access to this mana, and then in prayer I would ho'ala and have like an awakening like principle experience of a revelation that would come to me about why I drinking kava, who I'm connecting to, what it means that every time you drink ava, there is prayer surrounded in it. Because this is not just you know, like a drink that has good healing and medicinal properties. Yeah, of course. But if we choose to only see the kava like that, then it becomes a commodity that we can export. It no longer carries our kupuna mana, which our mana, our intention, our view and perspective of ava that goes into it is what gives the activation of that mana in the ava. Yeah, and if we don't take that 1 minute to pray over our ava, to do only and to connect and to be inspired by actually what we are doing, then our access point to our kupuna gets limited because we're not accessing ourselves to it, because we're not going through the needed protocols, have it be in a kapu space, in a noa space. There is still a space that needs to be created in order for you to get access to that truth and that consciousness of our kupuna. And so in you know, to kind of encapsulate that whole thought on kind of to answer that question of how to regain our culture, I encourage everybody to go onto our website, awakenaloha.org and get that ebook. It's right on our homepage, and it gives you practical steps of these 4 P's. And it's basically one is purpose, is practice, is prayer, and the 4th one, well, because like the last one is prayer. A cheerful think,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Principle
No,
has
no,
principle, has
Yep.
practice, has principle, has practice, has purpose, has prayer. Have a discovery of the principles of your kupuna. Identify what is all the belief systems, all the values of the people that you come from in the language that you resonate with. What is that? What is that? Like kind of an example for Kanaka, having an understanding of what is aloha, what is pono, what is lokahi, what is ohana, what it means to be Kanaka, what is to be a person of the aina. All of these things are intricate parts of the value systems that make us Kanaka. And then it goes into practice, identifying what are the practices of your kupuna that you come from. I'm talking about in your lineage, because that's going to take you on top of the path of like, what is, the kupuna I come from? What did they practice? Because that's the information that lives in you.
Mm-hmm.
So even, if you can identify that, beautiful, it's going to give you a pathway. If you cannot identify that, then what practices of your kupuna inspire you and connect to you that you can go explore? And from at that point, it takes you right into purpose. How are you going to put those principles and practices into place to actually give your life a higher meaning, a deeper meaning of who you can be and how you can contribute to the preservation, conservation, and perpetuation of your people, and your culture? And then there's prayer. Yeah, because everything is in depth in prayer. And when you're kind of lost on the journey, it's so crucial, it's fundamental that you are a practitioner of prayer, that you are living your life in prayer constantly. Because when you feel lost and you are not able to identify where to go, then only your kupuna can lead you. Only spirit, only your aumakua, only the spirits that are connected to you, when you call upon them, can they give you the intelligence needed to walk on that path. If you don't have that, then you're going to always rely on the information that is given to you through all the modalities of Western practices and Western thought. Yeah, because it's the thought that is so important. It's the thought. As Brah said, in his old song, they took the land, they took aloha, they took the queen even though they didn't know her. They took ikaika and then kupuna, and then they tried to take ohana, but they couldn't take the mana. Yeah. So our aim is to get into the mana and to connect to the mana of who you come from, because when you can embody them, and I'm talking about embodiment in body, in mind, in spirit, in food, when you can embody your kupuna in practice, then you begin to slowly see that you begin to look like, express yourself as, and embody your kupuna. And when that happens, then your mana becomes fully accessible to all of your kupuna to speak to you at a deeper level, and then it's going to take you to a whole other stage of your development.
Powerful, dude.
Yeah,
that's powerful.
Yeah,
bro, that's deep. No, it's just you answered just so many questions that I already had in my head lined up. So that's solid, especially with as you transition to like Ava and Kava and all that. I know you said your family did Hawaiian things, but the essence and like the mana of all of it, what was that turning point for you to kind of go down that path of like, okay, I want to not just make this thing, but I want to learn about the essence and why, and the mana and the energy that comes from all of it. Like, do you remember that? Was there like a point like, oh shoot, I want to go down this path, or was it more like a gradual?
Hey, Bob, to answer that question, Brah, it's kind of tiered. And because it started happening incrementally, and I just started to see, like what was happening in my life and who I was becoming. And at the foundation of everything, I always wanted to make sure, bro, that whatever I was doing, I was making all of my kupuna proud, you know, and it was always a thing that I kind of battled with, because, you know, I had to know that what I was doing was in alignment with my path. But there was a tendency, because I've always been an ambitious guy, that I was take so much action, that at times I would act too fast, and then I'll put myself into a trap, and like I wouldn't realize what I was doing. And you know, because I didn't always have the coaching and the mentorship that could help me. And truthfully, at times in my life, I didn't really want it, because I felt like people who were mentors, who were kumus, were kind of thinking along the lines of how they thought. And it was kind of limiting for me. And I didn't want to be limited by whatever coaches, teachers had. I wanted to walk in the way that was most aligned and true to myself. Yeah. And so I remember that when stuff started exploding, well, I was putting out content on the Hawaiian Kingdom. This was back 2015, 2016. I was putting out plenty content speaking on the Hawaiian Kingdom that wasn't really happening at that time. You know, about it, and you know, because professionally I'm trained as a speaker, I was speaking a lot on the intellectual end of how come the Hawaiian Kingdom is still the right kind of space and country that we live in today, and what Hawaiians need to do to get on board with that consciousness. If we want to change our trajectory as a people, I was talking about that we have to acknowledge history and just understand where we are, who we are, and how the fuck we got where we are. Yeah, because we are in a situation that like is so messed up that it can be traced all the way back to the overthrow and before. So what are the events? And I started going onto that to start understanding my identity, like whoa, how come I you know, I private school my whole life. You know, I half my family Catholic, other half of my family Adventist. Everybody not practicing Hawaiian, but we all Hawaiian. What is going on? You know, and then I started to realize that what had happened was just everybody in the system got brainwashed, and I wanted to get myself out of that. And the only way that I knew to get myself out of that was to seek out wisdom. But as I was going on my journey, Kanaka, I was picking up, you know, Ike here, I was picking up Ike here, I was building the right relationships. But what changed it all for me, Hawaii, is I wanted to break through. Like, I was growing, but I was feeling like I was pushing over I was pushing up into one ceiling, Hawaii.
Yeah.
I was pushing up into one ceiling, and I wasn't realizing, like, oh, the ceiling is thick, honey. I need some mana to get through this thing, bro. Like, oh, I needed it. I was like, what is going on? Bruh, I decided, Kanaka, to go on one 3-week fast, honey. I never eat for 3 weeks, honey.
Yeah.
I never eat for 3 weeks. But the only thing that I had in those 3 weeks, honey, I had my greens, I had apple juice, and I would drink ava. And every day, bro, I was in the scriptures, honey. Bro, I was reading the scriptures in Olelo Hawaii and Olelo Haole, English and Hawaiian, and I was trying to like look for the Ike in Olelo Hawaii. I was looking for him, but I was looking for him, and I never understood like where the bugger stay. And then, bro, on that 3rd week of my fast, I broke through. Boom, Hawaii. I went from 185 pounds. Well, I was 185 in those 3 weeks, bro. I came down to 140. Bro, I came down to 140. I was frail, but my mana was so strong. My mana was so strong, Hawaiian. I was looking for him, and then, bro, I just started studying Kanaka. I devoted.
I got you. Yep.
I would devote myself to actually reading about Ike Hawaii, all the wisdom of our kupuna every morning, every night, listening to teachings, listening to Oli. Bruh, being able to listen to how all of our kupuna would exchange in conversation. And I was getting closer. I was getting closer. And then I knew I needed to just break out of all of my patterns, bro, like once and for all. I did one fast for 1 week. And then I did one heroic dose on mushrooms. I did one heroic dose on plant medicine with Ava. And from that point on, my life was completely transformed, because on that experience, on, as we call it, on La'au Akua, the plant form of Akua, I had my first real in-depth interaction with Haumea. I had a conversation with Earth Mother for the first time, an audible conversation. I could hear her voice. I could feel her mana. I could see her face. I was crying. I was purging. I was twisting. I was turning. But, and this plant medicine experience that I did was actually up in the Wauakua, in the realm of the gods. And actually, this beautiful piece of aina in Oahu that is called Ualaka'a, that actually oversees all of Honolulu. And as I was going through this experience, Holleen, she was giving me very, very clear instructions. Very, very clear instructions, bro. One of the instructions was first to look at Honolulu. And when I was looking at Honolulu and seeing all the buildings and seeing all the madness, seeing all this stuff, she took me into a plane that I was able to see above Honolulu, and see how everybody was so lost and disconnected from her mana, from her truth. And even our own people was disconnected, just not even able to hear her. Why? Too much noise with the cars, too much noise with the cell phone, too much noise with the building, too much noise with the money, too much noise with all this stuff happening, that she wasn't even able to get into their field and to help them to connect. And then she gave me my instructions, Holly. I knew exactly what I was to do, bro. I was to bring this medicine to our people with Ava in spaces where our Kanaka could sit, could love, could work through our trauma, could purge, to get clear, because she told me that our mana of our people so strong that everybody since they came to Hawaii has been after our mana. And our mana is so potent that if we as Kanaka do not know how to manage our mana, like to manage our mana, how to build it, how to manage it, how to give it, then all the other things in the Western world is going to distract us, and we're going to give our mana to it. And then she started putting faces of my cousins, faces of my friends who are on methamphetamine, who are on heroin, who are on alcohol, abusive relationships, economic impoverished, bro. Like, she started giving me all of these faces of people that I know that are Kanaka, that were not able to excel in their mana because the Western world put out too much traps for them, that they gave their mana to it, and they were never able to reclaim it. Yeah. So that medicine experience, Hawaiian, was the experience that I attribute almost everything in my path taking a massive pivot. That all of my work up to that point was like confirmed and solidified on that journey.
Dang.
And I was able to move forward, Hawaiian, with the courage, Hawaiian, because I think that takes a lot of our people to speak up, but is the courage, bro, you know. And in current day, I see a lot of people reaching out to me, telling me that, bro, you know, hey, bro, I appreciate you having the voice and the courage to speak on these things, because many people who want to speak on it, they either do not have the communication skills or the information to articulate correctly, or they do, but they don't have the courage to bring it forth. And what that gave me in that journey, Hawaiian, was the courage to know that, bro, the truth is the truth, no matter what. And as long as I can live in the truth, not in my truth, in the truth. Yeah, there's a big difference when people saying, well, that's not my truth. You know, I'm not going to listen to that because that's not my truth. We hear that a lot in the hippie community, or people saying, you know, this new age thought of, I understand you as Hawaiians, but I can't live in that anger and that resentment because that's not my truth. Well, your truth, it doesn't always mean it's truth.
Mm-hmm.
It may be true to you, but because it's true to you, it doesn't make it universally truthful for all people. And what we got to make sure that when we're talking about stuff that has to do with human change, that we're talking about truth, universal truth that applies at all times for all people, all the time. Because only when we start speaking about those stuff, then the things in the system are able to huli. If we're focusing on the stuff that is so incremental on, you know, like personality differences, like viewpoints and perspectives, I choose to see this. If we choose to, that's all dogma. That's all the same things that the church keeps us away from God, is those things. But when we can focus on the truth, Kanaka, and live in the truth, I've learned that truth is what gives you the power and the courage to speak. Because when you just know, hoy, nobody gotta tell you, Kanaka. You just fucking know, hoy. Yeah? And you know so good that when people gonna ask you, no matter what it is, you're gonna be able to give them such a good answer that in your words, in your mana, they will be transformed by it because they gonna resonate with the truth, hoy. Even if they don't speak the language.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, you can talk to a person and don't speak Hawaiian, and you can chant for them, and they get chicken skin, Hawaiian. They get chicken skin because they hear this only. They're wondering why. Hawaiian, I know you didn't understand what they're saying. I go, Kanaka. Because what they sing and the vibration and how we chanting, that's the truth, Kanaka. That's the truth. That you don't need even think about anything around you. That mana is what is potent, and that's the mana that should speak to everybody around the planet. That you don't need to talk a language, a culture, a being, but when you speak truth, it's gonna reach the masses, homie.
What is it? The truth shall set you free, man. You know
the
what I'm saying?
truth shall set you free,
Yep.
Bruh.
Yep.
Had a good brother of mine who told me, he went, bruh, his teacher told him, he go, bruh, hey, bruh, I gotta tell you, bruh, I gotta tell you that, bruh, the paths are many, but the truth is one.
Mm.
Yeah. That you are able to go on whatever path. Everybody stay on a different path of the same freeway, homie. I feel like, yeah. Everybody stay in 106 lanes on each one, all going into Honolulu.
Yeah.
And hopefully the bugger is not in rush hour traffic.
Right. But they get like 3 hours. Yeah. But no, yeah, it's mean. Yeah, especially you know, the truth and just like feeling it. You know what I'm saying? And I know you with Awaken Aloha, you want to spread it to, you know, not only like, you know, Kanaka or like, you know, Kamaina or like people of Hawaii. Like, what would you say to like someone, say like born and raised in Hawaii, but you know they resonate with, you know, the Hawaiian culture so much, and you know, but they're not, you know, of, you know, Hawaiian blood or Kanaka Maoli, you know, like,
yes.
Well, man, you know, there's that like a kind of like identity or maybe like imposter syndrome. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what would you say to those people? You know what I'm saying? That, you know, want, you know, because you say go to your kupuna, learn about your own descent, because, you know, Hawaii, we're a melting pot, yeah. So some people get like, you know, Filipino, you know, Portuguese, Japanese, mix, all that. But then, you know, that one defining thing that they really gravitate to is the Hawaiian culture. Like, what would you say to, you know, that person?
Oh, okay. So if you are the person that potentially is not Kanaka, but love Hawaii and all things of our culture and our people, what I say to you is that if you feel the call, you know, if you feel the pilina, the connectedness to exploring who you are within Hawaii, then listen to that call. Listen to your na'au. Yeah, hear it, embody it. Especially if you consider yourself to become a aina, listen to it, embody it, walk with it, honor it, while at the same time actually exploring your lineal ties. If you do not know, say, kind of an example, if you Filipino, your parents Filipino, been here since plantation days, and you identify as being a person of Hawaii because you are a person of Hawaii. If Hawaii is your lands of your birth, is the place that once you entered into the world, that the first hanu that you took had been the air of Hawaii, then you are kamaaina o Hawaii ne. But now to choose to expand on that and to explore that, there is protocol on how to do that. And like incrementally, right? Say if you're an adult and you've been a little bit intimidated on going there, but you love Hawaiian culture, and you want to explore it more, express yourself more in it. Here's the question: what a part of Hawaiian culture do you love? Listing those out, like asking yourself, like getting so clear, because clarity is everything. You know, it's like the ihe, the big part of the ihe that is important is not always the like staff, it's the tip, Hawaiian, and the whole staff comes into the perfect point. So getting clear on what is the incremental part of Hawaiian culture that you love, that you resonate with, that has inspired you, and then exploring that in however you feel is appropriate, right? And I state appropriate because if you're going to go and seek out a teacher, a kumu, you have to make sure that you resonate with them, and they're going to honor you as well, because there are kumu who do not teach people who are not kanaka, and there are kumu who are open to teaching, right? And so you have to identify what is the teacher, who is the person that you resonate with, that is going to be open enough to invite you into their halo, into their space, into their school of thought, right? Because if you don't and you go to the wrong kumu, it may be a rude awakening, and you may get discouraged on exploring that. But you know how I always encourage people to do. But the first thing, Kanaka, the first thing is, because you know me, I have a son who is Colombian, and so I've been exploring Spanish a lot, and like speaking Spanish, Espanol, to habla Espanol, poquito right now, but I, you know, kind of expanding on it incrementally. But how I learned it as much as I could was through music. You know, I would study music, and if you go into all of the Hawaiian language preschools, how they teach Hawaiian language is through song.
Yeah.
They teach it through music. And so going and exploring Hawaiian music, Hawaiian artists that you love, and then unpacking history, because you want to make sure that you know context of Hawaiian history, of the history of the people, especially if who you come from, if you're Puerto Rican, if you're Chinese, if you're Filipino, if you're Portuguese, if you're Spanish, that has been here for a long time, try and looking at who came here first out of your family, what made them come here, what had been the invitation of why they came to the Hawaiian kingdom. Like actually getting that storyline clear in yourself, because if you don't have that clear storyline, then you aren't going to have the true conviction onto why this is also your kuleana. That your kupuna were invited to come to Hawaii out of Portugal, out of the Philippines for ABC. And as they came, they learned Hawaiian language. They had been integrated into Hawaiian culture, but they also maintained their own. So because you may be completely decultured and haven't been in your practice for such a long time, you need to do things on both fronts, on getting an understanding of you know, I'm interested in Hawaiian culture, I'm going to explore that. But do not explore Hawaiian culture at the risk of your own. Yeah. So trying your best to learn both, right? Like, hey, ask your parents the right questions. What are the foods? What is the music? What is that stuff that is in your culture that you connect with? And then exploring Hawaiian culture in a way that just resonates with who you are, and prayer. 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 Prayer prayer, because in prayer, in your spiritual practice, is where you're going to receive the wisdom, the intelligence, and the guidance that you need to explore deeper. And then meet Kanaka. Go and meet Kanaka. Go and connect with Hawaiians. If you know more Hawaiian friends, come Hala Eva. Come to one of our events. I will be your Hawaiian friend. Come.
Nice.
You know, I talk to you because I'm one of those Kanakas that are inviting to people, you know, and here to express, to explore, and to help them on top their journey as well, homie.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about, bro?
Nice, guaranteed, yeah. Oh, and shout out, my friend, my brother Gabe from Mahalo too. He says, how do you help people embrace the culture without Rachel Dozenbag? I don't know what that means. Rachel.
Oh,
Dozenbag?
he probably means bulldozing.
Okay, yeah.
Have aloha. You see, there, you know, a huge part of our work in Awaken Aloha is teaching people connection and how to be in the awareness of how to connect to different people and how to be a universal human. Because how you connect to a Polynesian is not going to be the same as how you connect to an African American. How you connect to an African American who is cultured is not going to be the same to how you connect to an African American who is so hip hop based or into gangs, you know, or how you connect to a Filipino is not going to be the same on how you connect to a businessman who comes from China who is in Hawaii, right? And so, like, understanding the universal principles. This is what I'm saying about understanding how to live in a way that works for all, that you can become. You know, there is has a passage, I believe, in the book of Romans that the Apostle Paul said that I become all things to all men, right? And even if you're not a Christian or not even interested in any of the words of the Bible, there is fundamental truth within every spiritual tradition that can teach you, and you actually need to learn detachment of all of your own perceptions and conceptions upon spiritual literature and thought patterns to know the truth, because being a universal human requires you to step back and to observe people for where they're at and for who they are, in what part of the day, and how to become an expert at relationships, on how to be in relationship with specific humans and to adapt and become a chameleon, so that if you in a red room but you green in nature, that you can turn red. And kind of be on the wall, so you are able to integrate but still maintain your own autonomy, your own personality, but you can become.
Oh shoot! Can I hear? There you go. Yeah, got you. Yep. Yeah.
But how to live in oneness requires you to be so adaptable that it doesn't matter what environment you go into, you can always not only survive, but you can thrive because you are open enough to learn, to grow. More consciousness, bro. More consciousness. You know, to actually be in the present and to know what that person means. Like, a good book for people, you know, I guess people who are in business, but it's a universal book, is How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's like how to know, how to integrate into how people see the world and how to see the world through them, on how to speak to them in their language, how to come into a relationship with them. And if people are cultured and are a little bit hard and tough and don't want to teach or are not really approachable, then that's an indicator. If they're not really approachable, then that gives you an indicator to not approach. Or if you are going to approach them, you have to be a person who is willing to know that being in a state of rejection is a possibility, right? And you have to be okay with that. and you can't get butt hurt because people are not approachable if you choose to approach them.
Yeah. No, that's mean, dude. Yeah, we actually. Oh, dude, bro, it's already. We already chopped it up for almost 1 hour, bro. It's nuts. But,
All good, Kanaka.
Yeah, guaranteed. Yeah. So we had a couple people got some questions and stuff. If you guys have any questions, we're gonna kind close them out fast kind. But here we go. We got.
How about 3 questions?
Yep.
So Maka. Oh yes, hey, just hit us up in a DM, sis. Or is this a sis or a brother? Just hit us up in a DM.
Yep.
But have any questions, everybody? We will take 3 questions. If you're okay with that, Owen, 3 questions.
Yeah, guaranteed. Yeah. Yeah, so
is anybody interested in any questions? Please ask the questions. Please ask the question. Oh,
sis.
sis.
Okay. Yeah.
Aloha, Maka. Tita, kalamai. Hey, and congratulations on your PhD research.
Yep.
Even to get to that point, hey, what we need is educated and empowered Kanaka. Yeah, but plenty of the educated Kanaka, they also kind of think in the Western way, so gotta, and I also think in the Western way, right? But a part of thinking in the Western way is also thinking in like a linear fashion. So, like seeing things in like a linear sense and not being open to all the different perspectives that exist in one thing. Yeah. Hey, congratulations, Tita. So, in terms of an Ava brand, Hawaiian, speak Kanaka.
Oh, shoot. Right now, I've been just drinking the Pu'u Hoku from Molokai. So, yeah, so they it's solid. It's the fresh pulp. So, they're kind of, I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I just love their stuff. So, but yeah, if you just go on the Instagram or website, it's frozen. So, and they ship to the mainland. So, they shipped it to me in Sacramento. So, they're pretty solid.
Oh, follow.
So, and you open them up, you smell like cucumber, right? It smells so good. Yeah.
Mean, Kanaka.
But
mean.
It's solid.
Yeah, me, I usually here has 2 brands that is like the easiest accessible. One of the brands that I always use is Tikaram. He's one of the biggest importers. He's the biggest importer of all kava from the people of Tonga, Fiji, the Vanuatu Islands. He even has a kava strain from actually New Guinea that he imports here, and I'm in the process of getting into partnership with him to actually see, because I could be introducing a kava bar in Haleiwa heading into April. Kanaka.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was when, and then for me, I work with Cold Kava as their marketing sales. So yeah, they get Noble Tongan Kava from Vava'u. So yeah, if you guys go on the website, use Stay Rooted, you get 15% off.
Solid. So kind of like in the introducing of our podcast, I in the process of being able to look for sponsors for each of our podcast episodes, and I'm looking to do things kind of like on the medicinal end for each episode because like each episode for just the editing and all that stuff, like it costs maybe like a few $100s, and I'm seeing if any of the brothers who have businesses are interested in doing sponsorship to have promotion on our podcast, because this podcast I already know is going to fucking go worldwide, homie. Yeah. So bro, spread the mana, bro. Okay.
Oh yeah. So I'll for sure talk to the founders. They're a couple in Utah, and the husband's from Maui.
Oh,
so,
killer, homie.
Yeah, they're good people. Yeah, they're solid people. But yeah, before if anybody has any questions, let us know.
So I have one more right here.
Boom.
I'm looking to educate people out here. She's in California too, bro. On the periculture aspect, so can create right relationship with spirit of the medicine, Akua, Kanaka, and Aina. Incan alchemy. Are you Kanaka? Or a person who is Kama Aina to Hawaii? Or you have kind of like a different heritage? I'm just interested in that before I answer. Sacramento and the periculture, so I can create. And bro, for you Kanaka to actually reach people there, Hawaii, I would encourage you. I'm not too sure if you've had any education on aspects of protocol and ceremony on kava. But if you have, Hawaiian, an awesome way to reach your community, Kanaka, is hold spaces in kava ceremony and just speak and talk story with everybody, bro. And if you need help in putting that stuff together, bro, like, you just let me know, cuz.
Oh, guaranteed. Yeah. Because right now I'm doing end of the month I'm gonna do like a men's group, just kind of just like having us like the brothers that I met here, you know, locally that's from Hawaii, or even just like people are connected.
Have men's group, Kanaka. Have men's group. You know? Yeah, but bring the Kani together, Hawaiian. Good,
guaranteed.
Good, Hawaiian. Good, yeah.
But no, yeah. As we oh, and then if you guys have any other questions, you can DM us and stuff. But for you, as far as like Ava and you know that path, I know you just mentioned you probably gonna open up one bar. But what do you guys? What do you have in works? And what do you have right now for the people as far as learning more about Ava or anything that you have coming up, bro?
Okay. Awesome. So to Ink and Alchemy, just hit me up on a DM, sis, and I'll speak to you individually, Tita. Okay. But so I've been in the thought process of seeing how to open up a kava lounge for a long time here in Hawaii, because there is not really any Hawaii. In Oahu specifically, has a couple on Hawaii Island, has a couple in Maui, but not in Oahu. And so the inspiration of doing this is to have a cultural hub and to have a healing space and healing center for all kind of different people to come and experience Hawaii, you know, and to experience Ava, you know, and to actually have a global reach, and then to have a proof of concept. And so it's only going to be one evening per week in our first 2 to 3 months. It's going to be one evening per week, and in this one evening per week, it's going to be kind of like a happy hour. There is a space over here that that is an acai shop that has the highest quality of all freaking places of acai in Hawaii. He actually has his own farm in Brazil, brings it down here. Yeah, right, super high quality, freaking pure acai. But he is in need of a little bit of help and support on being able to reach the Hawaiian community here in Haleiwa. And I proposed to him to do a kava lounge once a week, bro. And to have the place packed. And so we are actually going to be introducing that hopefully in April. And I'm doing this because I have a long-term plan in the kava business, that if we are not going to get into kava and to control the spaces that is based on our medicines of our people, then it's going to get commercialized extremely quickly. It's going to be seen only as an alternative to alcohol, and it's going to be exploited, with our culture also being exploited in those kava lounges. I went into a few kava lounges in Orlando, and bruh, only the ones that are ran by Polynesian people is pono. Only the ones. But in the past 3 to 4 years, there were 15 that opened up. In Orlando, and there's only 2 in all of Orlando that is Polynesian ran, and all of the other ones, bro. I heard that there's a club in Orlando that is a strip club that is non-alcoholic, but they only serve Ava.
What?
Yeah, bro. And in the strip club, all of the girls are all drinking kava like it's a freaking it's just not porno, right? You know. But this is because of lack of education. But it's also because a lack of our presence as a people in the business. If they're going to do it already, we need to jump on it, because there is a thing in the Hawaiian community or in Polynesian community about doing too much business on our stuff that is cultural. But they're going to do business on it already. And if they're going to do business on it, then guess what? they aren't going to do it properly. And
Yep.
they may think they're going to do it properly. They may even have all the consultants who are Kanaka, who are Polynesian, to come in and teach them. But if the mana, a part of the business, is not Kanaka, if the mana is not Polynesian based, yeah, of all the people who are all connected, the vast oceans of Kanaloa Nui Akea, if we are not connected to this and in this and get in it now to actually get in charge of all the market share, then they're going to take it over, and then we're going to have to play a catch-up game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I see this right now in these next 3 years as a massive opportunity. And the aim of mine is to get into it, Hawaiian, to get proof of concept, and then to franchise, Hawaiian, and build and actually have opportunities for only Kanaka, for all Polynesian peoples, to open this all around the world.
Yep. That'd be mean. Oh, bro, let's go.
The epic Yakas.
Yeah,
Yeah, Hawaiian.
yeah.
So
But-
everywhere you go, Hawaiian, you just imagine in 15 years, or, you know, there's 80 healing centers all around the entire world that is kava lounges that is planted and rooted by Polynesian people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be amazing, homie.
That'd be sick. But yeah,
Yeah.
man, fucking thank you. Mahalo, bro, for real, for taking time to jump on, talk story. If you ever want to talk story again, you know what I'm saying? Whether it be not only be IG live, on the phone, whatever,
Aye.
DM, let me know, bro. Yeah.
Hey, bro, absolutely, Hawaiian. And you know, bro, we are always in kind of like the plans of how to reach all of our people that is in the continental US. And so if you have kind of like a whole community of people who are interested in holding space of a ceremony, in kind of like an experience on plant medicine in that area, bro, let's come together. I have a blueprint of how to do it. You put the people together. There's all the fees that is all involved in exchange, and I fly out.
Oh shit.
And
Yup.
we come and host the space with you, bro.
Let's go. Yeah. Let's do it, bro. I'm down.
Okay, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, bro,
Let's go.
peace and love to you, Hawaiian. Hey, bro, I pray immense love, aloha, peace, health, and well-being over your ohana, over your keiki, over your wahine, over all the people that you're called to reach there in your business, in your work, and may your voice, your laugh, your smile, your aloha, your enthusiasm, and all of the gifts that your kupuna gave you continue to reach far and wide in your community, Hawaiian. I love you. I look forward to speaking to you soon, Kanaka.
Love you, bro. And everybody
Hey.
jumping on here. You guys watching live. You guys watching the replay. I love you guys. Much mahalo. As always, Chee, love you. Stay rooted.
Hey, peace and love, bro. Aloha, bro.
Love you.